Hi everyone. Check out metathreads.com/Datto if you're interested in some of my merch. The second drop will be closing the moment that it hits midnight on December 2nd on the West Coast, so you only have a couple of days left. Got some good stuff over there, so don't forget in case you waited a super long time and then you forgot, and then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about the merch. Let me go grab some. Thanks, Datto. God, you're just so helpful. Whether you're brand new to the game, coming back after an extended break, or you've been playing since day one, you probably have thought of this question since Beyond Light came out. Are there literally any good guns left in this game? What guns do I even go get now? What do I do? Well, I'm here to tell you that yes, there are still plenty of good guns out there. Today, we're going to go over some of the top options for legendary weapons in Beyond Light and Season 12 for PvE purposes mainly. Let's start with some weapons that were brought back very recently. 7th Seraph weapons from Season 10. Warmind Cell builds are very strong, but in Season 10, the weapons themselves did not have the insane perk rolls that we were used to, so Warmind Cells didn't gain as much popularity. Nowadays, with mods having way more freedom, Warmind Cell builds are much more easily accessed. The 7th Seraph weapons include an auto rifle, submachine gun, hand cannon, sidearm, shotgun, and machine gun. All of these come with the same rolls as they did in Season 10, and that is to say that they're all okay. Again, the power comes from the Warmind cells that you generate using these weapons. However, Ikelos weapons can also make Warmind cells, and those weapons are also back. At the moment, Anti-Barrier SMG is completely broken, staggering enemies an insane amount, so until that is fixed, and even after that is fixed, it is tough to not recommend the Ikelos SMG. While it doesn't have absolutely insane perks, there are still a lot of great combinations based on your goals. Disruption Break works on barrier shields on champions, Surrounded is good for ad clear, Vorpal is also good for champions, although it doesn't feel as important this season because it feels like barrier shields just die way easier, Demolitionist is always great, Pulse Monitor even for champions as well. It all depends on what you're going for and how versatile you want the weapon to be. As for the other 7th Seraph weapons, the machine gun is going to be chased down simply because we don't have a lot of machine guns out there right now. However, this is a gun that I think you're going to be using for ad clear and for killing majors, not so much champions and bosses. Good perks for that include auto-loading holster or field prep. Clown cartridge is okay, it's mid-tier for me. Second perk, I'm not really vibing too much here. Firing line is potentially a little overrated here because of the strict requirements, and again, you're not going to be using this in the new raid for boss damage purposes. Same with Vorpal. Disruption Break could be good for arc shields though. The Season 11 set list of weapons had quite a lot of bangers, most notably Falling Guillotine with Relentless Strikes and Whirlwind Blade, although Surrounded also works if you can get it to proc near a boss target. We also have Gnawing Hunger with any combination of the top tier perks like Subsistence, Rampage, or Swash, or Demolitionist, maybe Field Prep and a reload based damage perk. The Ikelos Sniper with a mag extension perk, triple tap, and high impact reserves is going to be great for rapid fire sniping. 4th time's the charm simply doesn't have a substantial enough benefit to get it over triple tap, not to mention triple tap has more global usability thanks to only needing 3 crits instead of 4. Cold Denial, the pulse rifle with Feeding Frenzy and multi-kill clip or Swashbuckler, that is also a great workhorse weapon. If you can somehow find a distant Tumulus sniper with clown cartridge and firing line, well, you hit the jackpot as far as that goes. New to the scene is first in, last out, thanks to how strong slug shotguns are for the final boss of the new raid. Auto-loading holster and Vorpal weapon are going to be the go-to perks here, especially if you're only running one shotgun, although some people are running double slug shotguns in the raid. If you're looking for a scout rifle, Night Watch can come with some really top-tier stuff. The curated role actually drops from doing the New Light 2.0 campaign. It has overflow and explosive rounds, and that's pretty good. If you're looking for something a little more traditional though, you got Rapid Hit or Outlaw and Rampage or multi-kill clip. Any combination there is going to do you real well. Alright, but how about some of the new stuff? Europa guns, Season 12 guns, raid guns. Let's take a look at those too. As I've mentioned in a previous video, it looks like Bungie is moving away from your guns being the absolute main factor when it comes to builds nowadays. The ability to get classic perk rolls like Outlaw Kill Clip will be exceedingly rare on new weapons, to the point where I believe it'll be phased out completely over the next year. As a result, not many new guns will have these perk combinations available, which means you may just want to stick with guns from previous seasons that do have those perk combinations available to you, should you so choose. Again, we are in a dire machine gun situation, so let's take a look at thermal erosion. In terms of classic perks, first column, I'm looking at field prep, and that's really about it. Second column, Demolitionist is always going to be solid, and Wellspring looks to be good too, since it serves a similar function. Bone Chiller is another slug shotgun, so if you can't manage to find a first in last out with a good roll, this is the next best thing. You can get auto-loading holster, but you could also get triple tap. With an extended mag type perk, that brings your shot total from 6 to 8, but you will have to reload. Alternatively, Dual Loader crams in 2 shots into your gun at once, although with a slower reload animation. In the second column, there is almost nothing that helps your gun do more damage against a boss target. Technically, Threat Detector will let you reload faster, but that's about it. However, if you're able to kill 3 trash mobs before fighting a bigger target or a boss, then One for All might prove to have some value. Otherwise, most of the other primary weapons, the auto rifle, Arctic Haze, the Pulse, Hailing Confusion, don't come with anything that I would call remarkable. Arctic Haze can do Subsistence and Thresh, Vorpal, or Dragonfly if you're into that. Again, depends on what you're using the gun for. I do think that Subsistence will become more noteworthy as time goes on as a premier perk. Not that it wasn't already, but just more so. Stars in Shadow, the Pulse Rifle, can roll Outlaw Kill Clip, but it's very rare considering that the perk pool is massive. Xenoclast, the shotgun, let me tell ya, also a lot of perks here. In the second column, the strongest perks are 1-2 Punch, Trench Barrel, or Vorpal, and again, it depends on what you're going for in terms of a build or a loadout here. In the first column, PvE-wise, I'm looking at Dual Loader, Auto-Loading, Field Prep, potentially Grave Robber as well if you get 1-2 Punch. The rocket launcher can roll with a new perk called Chain Reaction, and I've heard very good things about it in case you're looking for a rocket. However, the perk is focused on killing a lot of enemies at once and not necessarily boss damage. As far as Season 12 weapons go, the talk of the town is Deafening Whisper with the ability to roll Ambitious Assassin and Rampage, although apparently Rampage is not functioning properly on the weapon at the moment, which will hopefully get fixed. This is another wave-based grenade launcher. It does a wave of damage along the ground instead of just exploding, but it's the first time that we've seen Ambitious Assassin on this weapon type, and I would advise scooping it up if you can get one. Friction Fire can roll with Rampage in the second slot. Threat Detector or Killing Wind is going to be the strat in the first slot. If you don't want Rampage, you can grab Vorpal or Wellspring, but I do think Rampage is going to be better than Wellspring. Vorpal is more of a champion killer perk. Royal Chase, the Scout Rifle. We do have multi-kill clip and Thresh in the second column, but the first column leaves a bit to be desired. Full auto is okay, but this is a 180 RPM Scout, so tapping the trigger isn't that arduous. Field Prep might be okay for faster reloads as well. Corsair's Wrath, the uncommon linear fusion line of weaponry. It does have Outlaw, which is nice, I guess, but the only thing that's really going to do some boss or champion damage here is high impact reserves, and Lord knows we got some good boss killing weapons in the game already. In terms of grenade launchers, I'm just going to cover all of them in one fell swoop. If you're using one for boss damage, make sure it has spike grenades on it to start. I have a Field Prep Full Court Interference 6, which I really like, and that's probably one of the best ones for you to go find. Unfortunately, neither Blast Batu nor Crowd Pleaser can get full court, so that's out. Chain Reaction is good for ad clear in the same way that it is for rockets. Clown Cartridge also has some sustained damage potential, same with auto-loading holster. In terms of other roll drops that have been reintroduced, weapons I would look into getting good rolls of include Last Perdition, Gnawing Hunger, Geon 7, maybe, Truth Teller with auto-loading holster, Interference 6, and Long Shadow. Just keep in mind that these weapons are being sunset at various times during the year. In the description is my still mostly up-to-date guide on weapon rolls in general, although a video on the new perks is not out of the question. We do also have the raid weapons, but because of the new perks and because the old raids had their power caps increased, I'm gonna just throw all of those guns into their own video. But just to do something really quick for Deepstone Crypt guns, here are my suggestions. Commemoration, the machine gun, look for Feeding Frenzy or Reconstruction, and Rampage. Heritage, the slug kinetic shoddy, look for Reconstruction and Recombination if you're looking for something for the final boss of the raid. Bequest, the sword, look for Relentless Strikes and Surrounded if you don't have the Lament or a good Falling Guillotine. Temptation's Hook can roll with Relentless Strikes and Whirlwind Blade though. Posterity, the hand cannon, look out for Rapid Hit, Reconstruction, or Feeding Frenzy, and Rampage, Demolitionist, Redirection, or All for One. Trustee, the scout, look for Outlaw or Reconstruction, and then Redirection, High Impact Reserves, or Wellspring. Finally, Succession, the sniper, look out for Reconstruction, and Vorpal. I think that's the only combo that you would want to use for any sort of PvE purposes. That was a lot of guns. Again, the perk meta hasn't really changed. Reload plus damage perk is still going to be the top tier, but since we're moving away from that, we're just trying to find the next best perks. Demolitionist and Wellspring are going to be in the mix now, especially for ability-based builds. These more conditional damage perks like One for All are going to be seen more often, but, you know, the classics are still around, just not as much. That's what I got for you guys on new guns. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.